All right. By now, you've heard many times that Brock Purdy played a bad game against the Cleveland Browns on the aggregate. We get it. QBs have bad games. Maybe it shocked people a little bit more because Purdy had never had one at the NFL level prior to that. And I think that that should actually be the focus here, is that he had a historic streak of efficient games before one inefficient one against the NFL's number one defense. But I think that maybe the focus should be even more granular. It should be that Brock Purdy delivered on the final drive. And I'll tell you what, that's not being talked about enough. So why don't we talk about it? Why don't we put up the tape of the final drive? Brock Purdy against this Cleveland Browns defense. -5 net yards for the 49ers offense over their first 6 drives of the second half. And the first play of this final drive with the 49ers trailing by 2, needing a field goal, 1:40 to go. The first play is more of the same. Hand in Purdy's face, tries to force one downfield because the pressure's all over him. Actually nearly picked off. Not a good start. Stadium roaring at this point, 2nd and 10. Purdy, as you can tell, the theme here is get rid of the ball quick because the pass rush is all over him. He looked over to the middle of the field, didn't see what he liked, and then just had to snap and release because, look, time of this throw, Trent Williams on the right side is getting beaten already around the hoop by Myles Garrett. Williams was playing with the ankle sprain. Colton McKivitz getting backed up. 49ers are double teaming Zadarius Smith, who was running some kind of stunt move. But that pocket is constricting really quick, and Purdy had to let go of the football. Aiyuk covered over on the far side. Sets up 3rd and 10. This is where the 49ers finally got a break. You can argue that they might have deserved a break after the Tashawn Gibson penalty on the drive before. Outside leverage, Jawan Jennings, pass rush hit quickly. They call the holding flag on Greg Newsome. Was it a good penalty? I'm not sure, but I do know that that Brock Purdy had to get rid of the football right now. He waited until the very last possible second, which was like 1.9 seconds after the snap, because Myles Garrett again beat the hobbled Trent Williams around the hoop. He's getting hit. He delivers, and the reason Jennings couldn't get the ball is because he fell down. Did he fall down because of contact? Well, he wanted the flag, and there it comes. So a new set of downs for the 49ers. They finally move into positive yardage, net yardage in the second half with the penalty, and this is the big play. Purdy just wants to spread it out, get rid of the ball quickly to his playmaker in space. Brandon Aiyuk is able to do it. Watch the move here from Brandon Aiyuk on the near side. Aiyuk is cutting in on the slant. The offensive line has to give him enough time to put his foot into the ground and use that change of direction. We call it COD to generate separation. Boom, separation right there. Football's already out from Brock Purdy. Aiyuk makes the catch with about 2 yards of separation, which enables him to accelerate. He's got those excellent yak abilities, and it picks up 33 yards. 49ers are in business. This is a huge play. It might have looked easy to the naked eye, but it won't look easy from this angle. Trust me. Look at this Browns pass rush. Spin move from Myles Garrett. Doesn't work quite as well as the other move against Trent Williams, but look, he backs Williams up into Purdy, who has to release without getting both feet planted into the ground. He has to release falling back a little bit, and he gets it to Brandon Aiyuk in time. With that kind of pressure from that kind of defense and that clutch situation, that is not an easy play, especially given the struggles the 49ers had over the first 6 drives of the second half. Well done from Brock Purdy. He thought that he had a sideline route there to Jawan Jennings. This was a really, really tough throw to make, though. As you'll see from the DB placement, you're going opposite hash. Remember, the football fields are 53 1/3 yards wide. So even something like that, trying to go opposite hash over the DB so you don't set up for a pick six, is going to be really difficult. Still, stop the clock. 49ers now moving forward. They have a softer cushion, inside leverage for Brandon Aiyuk, and Purdy makes a good throw. Now, on this particular play, the right side of the 49ers offensive line struggles a bit more. Zadarius Smith wins there on a spin move against Spencer Burford. You could see Smith is about to hit Brock Purdy as that ball is released. And the 49ers also have Colton McKivitz struggling a little bit on the right side of that offensive line. So this is a good job from the Cleveland Browns to pressure Purdy from the non-Myles Garrett side. And it's a good job by Brock Purdy realizing, oh boy, that right side of the line is caving in. I've got to make sure that my arm angle, my mechanics are good enough to get what might look like a routine throw on TV out accurately. Don't have this batted down. This is the nuance of quarterback play right now. He releases 54's arm is high up in the air. Look at that ball. Look at Purdy kind of tilting his body. You could tell that he made sure that that football was not going to get batted down at the line by creatively threading it through to Brandon Aiyuk. It's the minutia that matters in the short game. And that set the 49ers into field goal range. But they wanted a few more yards. And they get a few more yards with the out to Juwan Jennings. To me, this was the most impressive throw of the drive. One of the more impressive throws of the game. Not as good as the one that Brandon Aiyuk dropped deep early on. But, I mean, he's getting drilled by Myles Garrett here. Look at Purdy. He's getting taken down right after this throw. Yet it still finds Juwan Jennings outside the numbers. Again, remember that football fields are 53 1/3 yards wide. So throws the width of the field, especially from the opposite hash, are not easy. And Trent Williams struggled. I paused it here because I want you to watch Myles Garrett, 95. He's going to run the hoop around Trent Williams again. And Purdy gets rid of it in time to throw a dart. That is not an easy throw. Now, timing-wise, I timed this. It's 1.5 seconds from snap until hit. Hit right here. That's 1.9 seconds. That's faster than the fastest average time to throw in the NFL. The fastest average time to throw in the NFL on a week-by-week basis is about 2.3 seconds. Pass rushes on average will hit in 2.5 seconds. So this is an exceptionally effective pass rush from the Cleveland Browns that hits in 1.9. Purdy's out in 1.9 with a perfect throw to the sideline to Juwan Jennings that helps set the 49ers up for an eventual field goal miss. And that's why people aren't talking about this final drive enough, because Moody missed from 41 yards out. They're going to give it to Mason, and he's going to set up that 41-yarder. That would be it for the 49ers. A lot of people were wondering, well, why didn't Kyle Shanahan try to push this ball a little bit further? And I think the reason is because the Browns were flying around. Their defense is historically good. Their defensive line was dominant. Mason can fumble, but also the Browns can make a play like Myles Garrett did here and gamble on something, shoot through, force a holding penalty, do something that would push the 49ers further back. And I think that's why Kyle Shanahan said, I'm not going to risk it against this defense. I'm going to run once. I'm going to be happy with the 3 or 4 extra yards that Jordan Mason got. And I'm going to go to Jake Moody. He missed from 41 yards. That's just the way that it goes sometimes. A lot of quarterbacks didn't play efficient games this past weekend. Justin Herbert really struggled against the same Cowboys team that Brock Purdy lit up. You talk about Josh Allen sputtering his way through that game against the New York Giants. You can talk about Jalen Hurts having a tough time against the New York Jets. He threw 3 interceptions and the Eagles lost. The point is that quarterbacks have bad games. I pointed out that Joe Montana in a Super Bowl year had a game where the 49ers scored only 3 points against Mike Shanahan's Raiders. Brock Purdy finally had an inefficient game on the aggregate, but he still made some of his best career throws in it. In fact, if Brandon Aiyuk had caught the bomb that Purdy had thrown perfectly, 49ers probably win. And then you saw the 49ers move into position to win thanks to Brock Purdy. Great quarterbacks are able to turn it on in crunch time, even if they've struggled before earlier in that game, and even if they're not without all of their weapons. And the 49ers were down Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey on that drive. It's the kind of stuff that Brady did for his whole career. Well, we saw Brock Purdy respond to adversity. He passed the adversity test in this game, and I don't think that's being talked about enough.